Could be us.
What's up, everybody? Hey, this is Nick Reese, your COO and co-founder of Agent Elite, and today we have a special guest with us, Hillary. Hillary, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm awesome.
Good. So today's we're actually going to be. This is going to be episode 5, which is going to be covering our lead management series that's going to be focused solely on more or less social media. And so today we have Hillary, who was with formerly Agentology, but now Verse.
Now we are Verse. Yeah, on Monday I worked for Agentology, and on Tuesday I worked for Verse.
Yeah.
And that's
how was that?
That's a fun name change we did.
Right.
Good news is we don't have to repaint any of the walls in the office. We already have all the right colors up, but yeah, we've made a little bit of a shift to a new name. So
tell us, before we kind of get into more or less the social media aspect of things, share with us just a little bit in regards to Verse and your primary vertical at one point was solely real estate.
Yep.
And that is still something you guys are focusing on, but now you have shifted to mortgage and to now other industries, right?
And to mortgage and beyond.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about that and what it is that you guys do. And
cool. So yeah, for anybody who wasn't familiar with Agentology before, Agentology is your on-demand ISA service. That ISA word is a real estate word, but ultimately we're here to help you engage, qualify, and nurture your leads. So regardless of lead source, Verse can receive a signal to engage that lead. We push them through a custom process, whatever decision tree you want designed or want us to follow, and then we send you a signal and send the results back. So for real estate specifically, ultimately we were solving problems around speed to lead, around multiple attempts. We make 23 attempts to real estate leads over 6 months. Wow. And we're really just helping real estate professionals get a lift. The average ROI lift for a real estate professional was around 310% increase in qualified leads coming out of the same sources, same leads you had. Yeah,
and it's having a team really to manage those leads from the moment they come in, right? Because we talk about the stats in regards to when leads come in, and the longer you wait to get in touch with them, then the percentages start to go down, right?
Right. I mean, speed to lead is a thing. I'm sure everybody's, we've all been saying it for 5 years now, but it's consumer driven. Consumers expect things now, and when you don't service that consumer immediately, they're going to move on to the next page. They're going to go to the next portal, and you're going to lose that at bat. So we send out, the first message goes out. It is automated, but it's customizable and it's instant. And what makes us different is that everything is human guided after that point. So, that first text offers the consumer a call or a continued text conversation. Okay. And you just can't do that with a chatbot, right?
Yeah.
Like a chatbot can't offer to call you because it can't call you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I'm excited to have you here. I know we've done a lot of partnership stuff and webinars with Verse, formerly Agentology, right? That's going to be getting used to saying that, but I'm excited to see what it is that you guys are doing and where you're going. And as always, we're excited to just be able to partner with you. So one of the reasons why we have Hillary here is we have a long background. We've known each other for a very long time and have been in this real estate industry together for quite some time. And one thing I enjoy about Hillary is just her ability, when it comes to, running things and marketing and, managing leads. And so we've asked you to come in to kind of, focus on this next topic, which is really social media and lead management, which is a big thing, right? The challenge with most agents is they don't have a full understanding of really how to engage leads coming through social media, or they're unsure of how to utilize social media to their advantage, to help convert leads. Right. And so, a lot of times they focus so much on buying leads. They focus so much on, all these other aspects of the business, which is great. But, how do we manage a lead? What does that look like from an agent standpoint? How do we, engage, that potential prospect that's coming through this specific channel?
Right. Really good questions. And I would say that I think the first step in understanding like social leads is to really understand what that lead is looking for, right? Like you really have to get out of yourself and start thinking about these leads as people. Like this is a person who's looking for something, right? So you want to come from value, you want to come from contribution, and at the end of the day, I think the biggest misstep here is, and I'm going to blame Zillow for this, is that, you know, as an agent or a real estate professional, you know, you're used to being served a person who's ready right now, right? Because that's what that Zillow lead is. That's why they're so expensive. So, you know, I can't tell you how many conversations we've had with people buying Facebook leads going, oh, well, they're terrible and they don't want to talk to you. It's like, well, hold on. Like, that's a real person who gave you their real information. They're not pre-qualified. You know, they're a little more top of funnel, as you would say. So when you have that awareness and you have that understanding, like, you know, you want to kind of go through a series of steps as you're talking through Facebook leads, right? So first step is make sure you have your expectations set. These leads are not looking to transact for at least 6 months on average. I mean, they're 6 months out, 9 months out, 12 months out. You know, this is long game. You know, this is owning your market. This is being a local expert. Like, this is a lot of things that you guys, frankly, are really good at and helping a ton of professionals with. And that's the understanding that you need to have if you're even going to bother with any of the Facebook.
It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, right?
Exactly.
And it's understanding that, you know, and I always teach this not only in my department here with sales, but you know, I think the challenge with most agents is, or just people, let's say everybody wants to harvest the crop, but not everybody wants to go and plant the seed and kind of nurture that process, right? The crop just doesn't harvest overnight. And so there's all these other steps that have to be taken. And I think if people can just kind of take a step back and understand that, you know, when it comes to my leads, there's no such thing as this instant gratification, especially when it comes to real estate leads, because it's a huge decision in our life, right? And it's a big purchase. We're not buying a cell phone, we're not buying a car, we're buying a house. And you know, there's a lot of little things that, you know, people are looking for, and then there's credit, and then there's all these other factors that come in, and it's being able to understand that and, you know, being able to nurture that lead, you know, from the time that they come in. It's how do I build a relationship, right? And then figuring out their wants, needs, right, and their pains, and then figuring out how to coach them through that cycle until they convert from a lead into a prospect.
Right, totally. And, you know, I would add that we really focus, and this is a little bit more about how I run my sales teams, but you know, come from value, come from providing value to that person, establish that long-term relationship, right? Like, I have a ton of conspiracy theories around real estate leads and where it's all going to go, but you know, I think that hyper-local is the answer. I think that that's where it's going to be, and if you want to survive real estate and you want to survive whatever is coming in the next couple years, you know, you need to figure out how to build better relationships with people and stop treating people like they're just coming through your cash register and feeding your paycheck. That's the result you get from being good at building relationships. Like, you still get the cash. Don't worry about that part, right? It's getting good at the engagement, at the relationship. So with Facebook leads specifically, you know, we design scripts for every type of source there could be. We call it our smart cadence, if you will. And what it means is it means that the script processors that we've built take a look at the source first, and then they feed the right script to the ISA when they're engaging. So for Facebook specifically, we take a much more passive approach. We don't make phone calls to them. I know I said the big dangerous thing, right? Is we don't call them, but we don't. And the real reason is they don't answer the phone anyway. And they don't want to be called. Like, do you pick up the phone when a number you don't know calls you? You probably don't.
It's like when someone knocks on your front door, you never answered anymore, right? But back in the day when someone knocked, we were all running to the front door like, who is it?
Who is it?
Someone's here,
is
right?
It pizza? But now it's, now we all have, what's that thing, Ring? Where you can see and you watch it on your phone. My sales manager, Alan, shout out to Alan. He's always telling me who's at his front door, delivering things. But it's that transparency that people are looking for. So we don't proactively dial Facebook leads. We offer them a call. And believe it or not, the ones who say call me, they pick up 93% of the time. Like that's your real lead.
Yeah, that's a huge, 93%, that's a huge percentage, right?
Yeah.
But also too, like with social media is you don't necessarily have to call because you have Facebook Messenger.
Right.
Right. And the great thing about, I think what agents don't realize is the Facebook Messenger is you can see when it's read.
Right.
Yeah, and then, so you can really say, okay, hey, it was read, but no one responded for 24, 48 hours. So maybe I could take a slightly different approach in regards to how I'm connecting with them.
Right.
Versus like sometimes if we send a text message, we don't know necessarily, well, if you're an iPhone user, right, then, you can see when it's read, unless you turn that function off. But it's still like, did they get it? Did they not get it? What type of engagement? But the great thing is, I think from this standpoint is the prospect knows exactly who they're talking with, right? They can see your page. They can even, snoop around and look at your personal page, right? And I think, so a couple years ago, like Facebook business pages were a thing.
Right.
And while that's all fine and dandy, it still took away from who they were personally, right? And then the challenge was, how do I build up my Facebook business page? And then when we looked at the majority of agents out there, they're spending all this money to market on their Facebook business page, but what they don't realize is 90% of those people, well, let's say 99% of those people are just their family and friends, their kids and whatnot. So it kind of defeats the purpose of why we have the business page aspect, when realistically your sphere of influence, right? And according to NAR, and this stat has never changed over the past 10, 15 years I've been in the industry, but 80% of your business is referral.
Totally.
So if 80% of your business is referral, then don't worry not necessarily about the business page, but worry about your sphere of influence, which is your actual Facebook page.
Right. It's you are your brand, right? Like I was lucky enough to see Gary Vaynerchuk speak a couple weeks ago at a broker mortgage conference in Vegas, and he talked a lot about brand, and he said something that made a lot of sense to me. And what it was Nike doesn't sell shoes, right? They just make shoes. Like they just put shoes on the shelf and you buy them because they're Nike shoes. Like they've established a brand. Yeah. But if you push that down, to real estate or even mortgage professionals, like you are your brand. Yeah. You need to be that single source. And when you're engaging with social leads, think about it like this. Imagine that you're the rock star at the show and they're just at your concert, right? Like that's the level of opt-in that you're at. They are in your stadium. They're here. Are they going to leave? Are they going to come to your concert next time? Are they going to try to get your autograph? Like how do you get them closer to you over time without losing them in your concert? And my point here is, you need to be constantly delivering value and a song, if you will, to that audience. And, if you need help with a verse or two, we can help.
I think that's the other thing is you would agree with me. A lot of times agents try to, or let's just say not agents, but people, we try to overcomplicate the social media engagement process. Yeah. Right. And a big part of if you're going to be engaged in the social media is making sure that you're really setting some time aside each day to engage. And that's not just posting, not just giving them great content, because we see agents time and time again. It's like mortgage rates are at an all-time low. Anybody looking to sell, now's the best time to buy.
Give me your money.
Yeah, or it's just random articles. There's no personalization behind it,
right?
But at the same time, the social media game is about user engagement. It's about staying in front of your sphere of influence, and that's by hitting the like button, right? Yep. It's by just little comments here and there. And the more engaged you are with your sphere, right, the more on top of mind you are, right?
That's right.
And that means like one of the biggest ways to do that is when you sell a home, it's to go onto your social media and post a photo of your buyers, and congratulations to Nick and Hillary on your very first home. Looking forward to all the many memories, right? And the whole aspect behind the social media engagement is the more of your sphere that hits that like button, then Facebook starts to sponsor that within your friends of friends of friends.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, this is the true definition of multi-level marketing.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
And what Facebook business page doesn't allow you to do anymore is tag those individuals.
Right.
And so the whole idea is then to get those individuals to become friends and connect with you via social media.
Yeah.
Right. And then you tag those buyers. Well, once you tag those buyers, it goes onto their wall. Now all of a sudden their friends are engaged, right?
Right.
And that's the whole purpose behind, what it is that we're trying to do from a social media standpoint. So it's not that you have to be in Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but it's a matter of really making sure that you also set some time aside to get engaged, right?
Yeah.
To be on the forefront.
To be your person,
Exactly,
right? I mean,
yeah.
people want to transact, especially in real estate, with humans. That's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's you're represented by a human. Your representative is dealing with theirs. Like, it's a people business, and you need to go out there and be a person, really. Not to completely dumb it down, but when you look at some of the most successful people in the world, and you look at their friend groups, and how'd they get so many friends? Because they worked on being a friend, right?
Yeah.
They worked on hitting like and being supportive. Oh, did you get a new baby? Cool. Looks like you guys are doing an amazing thing, or your son won the Little League World Series, or if you're just able to connect with people in an authentic way, it's going to open more doors for you, period.
I feel like we can only streamline so much. Right. And, it's interesting. You see this full circle kind of come back around where when we first started in the industry I started in 2004, it was all about agent engagement.
Yep.
Right? Because not a lot of the processes were streamlined. And then, technology kind of came, and then streamlining processes kind of came, and, then CRMs and drip email and marketing automation, all these things to help kind of, streamline the connection process.
Right.
But now what you're starting to see is this kind of revert back to, okay, we have some of these systems in place, but what we're really losing sight of is just the interaction that so many people long for. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just that. I mean, I think I keep using the word, but authentic, meaningful, like the thing that we have, right? Like we have a connection. We don't talk for a year or two.
Yep.
We find a fun topic we want to talk about, and we come together and we do it, right? Like, but it's because we have an established relationship together. If I needed anything from you that, from Agent Elite, I would already know where to go. It's establishing that type of connections with your own sphere, in the hopes that, those people will help you grow that business for you. And this is very difficult to do if you're just in the purchase leads game. I think that people can feel it. Like, I think they know when they're being treated just like a transaction, and the odds of you getting that person back after they've been treated that way is pretty unlikely, in my opinion.
I feel like, my approach is slightly different, and what I teach is, because a lot of times we get leads from, let's say, social media. I don't necessarily know that particular client, or even a lead coming through my website where maybe it's not on a particular listing. So the question we get a lot, is what do we say? And it's like, well, your first initial reaction is like, all you're thinking is, how do we get them to buy?
Right.
And, I always tell agents, it's not, one, there's no golden nugget, but it's just call and introduce yourself. Hey, listen, I understand that you filled out a lead capture form, and ultimately my goal is just, one, to introduce myself to you and let you know that I'm here. And in the meantime, I know this is a crazy process. You're probably getting a lot of calls, but if you have any questions, if you have any comments or concerns, or you need anything, just understand that you can reach out to me anytime. That's really the initial conversation, and that will open up doors into other conversations like, well, I'm kind of looking for this, right? They try to complicate the lead follow-up process so much, like, well, what are you looking for? Or what's your average price range? When you want to buy? And then it becomes like this, it's like 21 questions, and there's no relationship building
no dating
in there. Yeah.
They're going right from married.
Yeah, right.
And there's no
stage 5 clinger, right? It's like, just be yourself. That's what people want. At the end of the day, we hear this in sales all the time.
Yeah.
People buy from people they like.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, and they can tell whether you're authentic or you're not.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, when we write our social scripts, we write them from that passive tone of just how can we be helpful. Of course, we can customize, any type of process, but our recommendation always, and by and large with social media scripts, outside of if we were having a conversation about Zillow leads, I would say very much the opposite of what I'm saying today. I would say get
absolutely.
hard, call them 1,000 times, figure out what they want, drive to their house, whatever you got to do.
Be the stage 5 clinger. Stock.
All day long.
Yeah.
But with social, which is going to be way more powerful for you over time, you want to, like I said, come from value, come from contribution. How can we help? It's exactly what you said. Hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm the local expert. I know this area. I know this world. I got plenty of time for you if you ever need anything. And they may not even respond, right? Like that voicemail may get left and they may not respond to you for a couple weeks, but they're going to remember you.
Yeah.
And that's almost more important with these types of leads, right?
Yeah.
You'll get the page follow, you'll get the like or the friend request, and you'll be able to continue planting that seed over the next year until it takes that person to get ready to be a purchase. And if you do a really good job after, then you have a client for life.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only just planting the seed, but it's fertilizing it. It's giving it the proper nutrient. I mean, there's a lot of work and time that has to go into that. And, you just have to be patient and continually work the steps. Right. So what are, just as we kind of wrap things up here, what are just some, maybe some tips or some advice that you can give to agents, when it comes to just the social media game and lead management?
I would say, couple quick things, depending on your, I want to use the word demographic, but your kind of target, right? Pay attention to which social media tools that you're using. Millennials are by and large on Instagram way more than they're on Facebook. Professional millennials or millennials with professional jobs, and I can only say this because I'm barely a millennial, but a couple months are on LinkedIn. Believe it or not, and LinkedIn is getting more organic traffic than Facebook ever did 5 years ago. And if you are not on LinkedIn, figure it out. Go do that right now. Establish your profile, establish yourself as a local expert, pick your markets, and just start posting. If you're looking for, what do I post or how do I figure this out? Come follow Verse or come follow any of the Verse team. My guys are getting very good at this and starting conversations on LinkedIn, but you're going to catch your more professional group on the LinkedIn side of things.
And typically with your professionals, they make money.
They tend to have a little bit more money, and they tend to buy stuff like phones and cars.
It's interesting because that's going to be another topic that we're going to do in a later series, but really just focusing on LinkedIn and how LinkedIn over the past year has really excelled, right? And, you guys, you listen, I mean, it's uncomfortable being in front of a camera, right? There's, I always have the saying is, sometimes you have to do the ridiculous in order to see the miraculous. And, be authentic and be yourself and just do you, right? Whether it's a 30-second video on you having coffee and getting your day started, right? Or whether it's a motivational quote. It's just being consistent and being engaged. And that's what you really want to focus on when it comes to LinkedIn. Right?
Yeah.
But that's a huge area of opportunity. And the way you manage LinkedIn is no different than the way you manage your Instagram.
Right.
And it's no different than the way you manage your Facebook.
Right. I mean, establish yourself. You are your own brand. That is what you are, to your point about, not necessarily needing a Facebook business page any longer. It really is just about you and who you are.
Yeah.
That's how LinkedIn works as well. Make sure that it's, warm and clear, where your focus is, and to your point, don't be afraid to just put stuff out there. I mean, people are consuming content at a ridiculous rate. I don't have that fact,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, I was also lucky enough to listen to Ryan Serhant tell a story at that same conference about, you know, him getting to close a not just one but two, one $11 million property and one $30 million property because of his YouTube videos that he posts.
Wow.
Both of them were an overseas buyer out of China who just are consuming our videos and our content. So it might be ridiculous, but it's probably not.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of video goes a long way.
Yeah, and I think they want raw and authentic.
That's
they
right.
don't want it to be Photoshopped. They don't want it to be, you know, staged. You
Right.
know, so mess up, be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Right, yeah.
So, you know, I would highly encourage you guys to just get involved and just, you know, like I do every day. You know, the first time, like when I get into the office, you know, from 7 to 8 is my LinkedIn time. And that's
Smart.
where, you know, I'm just engaging, you know, and I can go in and do targeted searches for, let's say, realtors in, you know, California, and all of a sudden I'm just adding them and just sending them little notes. Hey, I'd just love to connect, you know, and stay in touch. And that's all it takes from you know, from your end. It's just a matter of, you know, making sure that, you know, you're scheduling out these times to be very, very consistent, because real estate isn't about just coming in and closing homes. It's really about understanding how to market.
Right.
I mean, you know, and most agents, they get into it thinking, I'm just going to service some people, close some homes, but become an expert on how to market.
Right.
Become a marketing expert. I mean, realistically, like I've looked at a lot of the real estate classes. I would say that, you know, 80% of that should be focused on how to market,
how to build,
becoming a market,
build
how
yourself
to building
as a marketing agency. Really,
Yeah.
I fully agree. I think that I think anyone in any business, especially if you're a solopreneur, which agents really are,
Correct.
You need to be your own marketing agency, and you need to figure that out. Time blocking works really well, like Nick is saying. You know, making sure that it's something consistent, something that you're paying attention to on a daily basis, because I think it is the difference between success and fail in a lot of areas. It's hope and wait versus proactively getting out there and building something for yourself.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the biggest thing with, let's just say, entrepreneurs in general.
Yeah.
Right, is when you're not in like a 9-to-5 office environment where it's do this, do this, do this, do that, and everything's so regimen. Like as an agent, as an entrepreneur, it takes more work, because most of these agents are not going into the office.
Right.
Right. They're working from home, and so sometimes we can get thrown off by just the kids, the dog, the UPS driver or Amazon delivery, and all of a sudden we get so sidetracked that our day is behind us now, and it's like, well, where do I start? What do I do? So making sure that you have a very strict regimen. If we look at any top producing agent, you know, out in the market, a lot of these guys and gals are, you know, they're up at 5 a.m. They're at the gym, and then they go to the gym. They spend an hour at Starbucks. Why? Because that's where everybody's going before work, and it's just wearing a small badge that says, you know, Nick Reese with Keller Williams or Remax, and all of a sudden, you know, people are seeing you every day, and you know, the Starbucks is a sense of community, or your coffee shop is a sense of community. And so that's, you know, and then from there, you know, while they're there, they're using that time to manage their, like they have a very regimented schedule. And if you don't set that aside, then all of a sudden you're going to be, you know, going, well, why am I not making progress? And you know, you're going to be running into the same issues that you're currently running into now. And so
that's right.
Yeah, you really got to schedule it out.
And know that, you know, you'll get off schedule every once in a while. I would say by and large, any hyper successful individual has a regiment. They have a schedule. It goofs up from time to time. Things happen. But part of having a schedule is so that you can get back on your schedule. It's not just, you know, wake up and see what happens today. It's having a proactive plan is going to lead you to success, I think. And I fully agree. I think the most successful people are probably up at 4 a.m. Really. I mean, I don't know about your gym, but at my gym, there's the 4:15 crazies, and they are there every day at 4:15. They are crazy. I don't go at 4:15, but I do like going before work, and there's a ton of people who do.
Yeah, well, your money is, you know, all over the place, but today your money's in social media. Your money's in your sphere of influence, and that's what social media is. And it's building your network. I mean, we hear it, your network is your net worth. And so if your money is there, then that's where you should be spending your time. So don't just bypass that because you're uncomfortable or you don't really know what to do or where to start. If you guys have any questions in regards to not only how to manage your social media leads, but if what to post, when to post, best times to post, user engagement, either one of us can help you with that. But feel free to reach out to Agent Elite. And we'll spend as much time as we can, help educating you on that, because Agent Elite's not just about, the tools that we provide. More or less, it's about the education that we provide to these agents. Yeah. It's how to, manage the day-to-day things. It's, where should I be spending the majority of my time? Not where should I be spending the majority of my money, but where should I be spending the majority of my time, and how to get the most out of that. I mean, I've met a lot of top producing agents in this industry that don't necessarily care about the website. It's more an online business card, right?
Sure.
But their primary focus is in engagement. It's with the community. It's all those little aspects of things is why they're thriving. And while the website's great, it's definitely not the end all be all. And that's probably weird coming from a website provider like ourselves, but it's all about being transparent and open, and it doesn't matter where you go. And a lot of agents, what they do is they uproot the website because they were sold on the fact that the website equals a lead. And the website is really the bottom of the funnel, right? And it's making sure that we're marketing in all these different places to funnel that traffic, and then have systems and tools to help nurture. But just because you have those systems and tools in place doesn't mean it takes the personable aspect out of it.
Right. And I would add to that and say, know what you're good at. And I know that that's a really hard challenge, but when we talk about where you should be spending time versus where you should be spending money, it's really important to know what you're good at, because the things that you're good at are where you should be spending time, and the things that you're not good at are the things that you should outsource and just go pay for, right? Like if anyone out there is a web developer, great, build yourself a website, have a wonderful time. If you're not, Nick can help you with those things. If you love engaging your own leads, if that's your shtick and that's your thing, guess what? You'll probably be better than us at doing it. If it's not your shtick, at least consider shifting that to a team of people who work 24/7, right? Who can help you, right? Like I've said this for a long time. It's kind of my goofy joke about what we do, but I can wash my own car. I don't. It's not the best use of my time on a daily basis. I also don't do my own meals, right? Like there's things that just aren't the best use of time. Everybody's a little different. And my last kind of tip I guess I would throw out there is, this was not my advice, this also came from that conference, but if you're scared of doing video or you're scared of getting in front of a camera, go take an improv class. Because if you can't get over it after barking like a dog and doing all kinds of nonsense, you're probably never going to get over it. But I actually thought that advice was really great.
That is some good advice.
To set you up for camera.
It's always, it's even something I've had to get used to. But at the end of the day, my thing is how can you teach it if you can't do it?
Right.
And, sometimes you just have to put yourself out there and be authentic when you do it. And you start to build your own little followers, right? You build your own, so just get out there and have fun with it. And who cares, right? Don't be afraid of what's to come, because sometimes you don't know who you're going to connect with, right?
That's right. So
guys, that wraps up our series. If you guys definitely need to go and check out Verse. It's verse.io. So verse.io, which is formerly Agentology. So if you haven't checked them out, please go do that. For those that have been with Agent Elite for a while. You guys have probably had the opportunity to hear Hillary and just some of the mixed webinars that we've done with them, but they have a lot of great advice, a lot of great information, so go check them out. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you need anything, feel free to reach us at support@agentelite.com. You can also visit www.agentelite.com. That wraps it up for our series. We appreciate it. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time.